This will unlock the Bears. Some changes to be made to this team's offensive scheme and different things that Ben Johnson can do to be more successful going forward. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dylan Guinzy. Thank you for joining me once again. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. It looks like 67.5% of you have not done so. So to be up to date on news, rumors, things that do come to us throughout the week, please hit that bell so you are notified. So today, guys, what I want to discuss is something that we have gotten into in the past throughout the first 2 weeks of the season, and something that has been a pressing need and honestly a very big disappointment with this offense, and that is not the passing game. What I want to kind of dive more in depth into today is the running game, kind of what is happening right now, how everything looks, what can be changed going forward, and what Ben can do to unlock this Bears offense overall and unlock the running game. So the first thing that we're going to touch on here today is this man right here, DeAndre Swift. Straight up, DeAndre Swift has not been good enough to start the year. It has obviously been some of his more old characteristics that he brought when we signed him initially. He does not see holes very well, even when they are open. He dances around a little bit. He is not very decisive in where he wants to go with the football while carrying it. He's not seeing the field well enough, and that's kind of always been the case with DeAndre Swift. Going into the year, I got some kind of kickback on Twitter and other places where I was just clamoring the Bears to add somebody. You know, it doesn't have to be some world breaker or all-star, all-pro level running back necessarily. I wanted them to add somebody. Not just Kyle Monangai out of the 7th round. I felt like that was kind of faulty in their approach. And they did want Travion Henderson in the 2nd round, and he was taken up, and Quinshon Judkins was taken up as well by the Browns. And then they kind of pivoted from there and didn't get anybody at all. Somebody like a Bashal Tutin that the Jaguars now have, RJ Harvey, different guys like that were available later on too, and they just didn't even give it the time of day. And I feel like that was a massive mistake by Ryan Poles and the rest of the staff, honestly, by not taking more stock into the running back position. DeAndre Swift is a fine back. He's a very good 3rd down back, but he is not an every down back. And I've said this time and time again that 1st and 2nd down, this is not the guy that you want to be carrying the majority of the reps. You do not want DeAndre Swift to be carrying the ball 1st and 2nd down. You need a guy that is a change of pace, guy that's a downhill runner, decisive, can get 3 to 4 yards every single time in a pinch. DeAndre Swift is a guy that will go out there and lose 1, lose 2, try to make something happen and fumble, or just different things like that. And he's not really a 1st or 2nd down back. We can't force him to be that. He's a great playmaker and a great pass protector. He's great on 3rd downs and can catch the ball out of the backfield. Those are the types of things that we need to be utilizing him for, and we're not doing that right now. He's utilized as a bell cow right now, and that is not good. So going on to the efficiency metrics, rather than us just talking about it and discussing this like we've done in the past, I want to kind of get more into detail on what we're seeing there from the efficiency side of things, since more of that is coming out now that we have played multiple games. So despite the room to run, yards before contact in Chicago now, the Bears have still had a horrible rushing efficiency. EPA per rush is 31st, success rate is 32nd, yards after contact per attempt is 29th in the league. DeAndre Swift is bad. Don't see how he maintains this role all year. I agree with this. I agree with all this sentiment. Obviously, the stats, show for themselves. The numbers here that we're kind of talking about is the yards before contact for the Chicago Bears right now is 1st in the NFL. 1st in the NFL in yards before contact. And they are last in every other metric after that point. So what that tells me is Ben is scheming up good runs. The offensive line, for the majority, is doing a pretty good job of opening up holes that they're supposed to, and they are there. But DeAndre Swift is not hitting them efficiently, and he is not being decisive enough. He does also not have the power to run through first contact either and fall forward a lot of the time. So what we're seeing is just terrible efficiency from a player side, and that needs to get better. This is why we should have added people initially. So with that being said, I think it would be very important to give Kyle Monangai way more reps early in the game just to see what he has, if he's any better or not. The thing is he can't be any worse than what we are seeing right now. So Kyle Monangai needs to get those reps early on. We need to start ingraining him in that, first and second down carries. Obviously, he's not the greatest pass protector. He's got, some throwing room to do there, but seeing him carry the football and seeing if that looks any different is going to tell us right away what we're missing and what needs to happen going forward to unlock this offense as a whole. As you guys probably already know, Ben Johnson loves the play action. He loves marrying the run and the pass to where they both look the same. Now, the problem is if you're in first and second down, those are typically running downs, especially first down, right? So if you're going to be running the ball on first down with a play action or something that looks like a play action pass, if they know that you're running the ball and you can't have the vision and can't hit the holes properly, they're not going to put more defenders in the box to stop you running the ball. So what defenses have been doing, especially last week with the Lions, we had one successful run. After that, they kind of stopped everything. And therefore, the play action passes were not working because they just knew that we were going to throw. They just knew that it was coming. Now, on the flip side of that, we did have some good successful passes anyways, and Caleb did a great job. So, but to truly unlock this offense is to run the ball efficiently, so then those play action passes are actually getting defenders coming towards the line of scrimmage and trying to stop the run when it's actually not one. And then that's how you get wide receivers behind people. That's how you get broken coverage, and that's how you get those explosive plays. Ben Johnson has said it time and time again. He loves the explosives. We have the personnel to do that in the wide receiver room and pass catcher room. We have the quarterback that has the arm to do that and can do that. But if it's not there, it's not there. And if they're stopping the run easy as can be without any extra defenders in the box and stuff like that, it's not going to be successful, and it's just not going to be efficient overall. Another thing I want to point out here really quick is Jaylon Johnson. We haven't seen him yet. Obviously, we kind of know what he is as a runner. He's kind of a power back, but not very talented in kind of every other category. But I would like to see him get some lick if he is healthy enough because, again, like I said before, it can't get really any worse than what we are seeing right now for the Bears. Now, I do have full trust and, full transparency that Ben is going to figure this out and get this run game going, especially as the O-line has more chemistry as well, and they figure out who's better carrying the football for the majority of reps. He's going to figure it out. So I do have full transparency in that and full confidence in that, I guess. And I hope that does happen here soon because we need that to happen. But Ben Johnson in the press conference here today, he did mention that they still believe that the Bears will play their best ball later in the season. We're going to play our best ball in December. We are in a race to get there. So with that, obviously, they're kind of 0-2 at this point, or they are 0-2 at this point. They're behind the 8 ball in that category. And they kind of need to get some wins on the board now. They need that success now, which kind of sucks because ultimately Ben Johnson said it from the get-go, this is going to take a while. It might be a little bit sloppy. That is what we're seeing. But overall, I don't think this is a scheme problem. I don't think this is a Ben play calling issue at all. It is really just the personnel and DeAndre Swift, for the most part right now, that is not running the ball efficiently, and he just really doesn't have that in his Rolodex as a running back. So what we need to unlock the Bears is adding more guys into the mix here, seeing what is successful from the guys that we have on the roster. If that doesn't work, what's going to unlock us? Bring in somebody that does. I can tell you this for a fact. There are free agent running backs out there that haven't played much in this league or haven't played valuable reps in a while that still have better vision than DeAndre Swift. I promise you that. And I think most of you could probably agree as well that DeAndre Swift is just one of the most poor vision runners in this league, or instinctual runners in this league. So that's why before the season, I was just clamoring for them to add somebody, like a Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne. Now he's a big factor in Jacksonville still. He's not getting moved, things like that. But overall, I was just trying to get them to add somebody because then you have sort of a backup plan. You kind of rotate these guys through and through and see what works best for the offense. Now we kind of have to work with what we have in store. So that means Kyle Monangai needs to be getting more carries, and that is where the efficiency should come if he is better than DeAndre Swift. But if we don't get him in there, we're never going to know. Putting him in garbage time does not work. That doesn't mean anything for this team. So overall, guys, the running game has not been good enough. The offense is going to come. This team is going to get better on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, whole nother story. Probably don't have any chance there. But the offense is going to come. This is what we've been clamoring for. Now, is it going to result in wins? Probably not. But the one thing when you do have a good run game is you can control time of possession better. Right now, we've had, I can't count, on one hand how many drives that we've had that were 3 and outs that have been less than a minute off the clock. And that's just completely unacceptable in the NFL. You're not going to win any games doing that. So at least if you're going to have drives that stall out or you end up with a field goal or something like that, you got to run the ball and run the clock. You can't be throwing incomplete passes and going 3 and out in less than a minute and giving the ball right back to the other team. So overall, guys, run game needs to be so much better. That's going to unlock this team going forward. They're going to be playing their best ball later in the season on the offensive side. I'm happy with everything else so far, and I'm really hoping at some point here soon that it does just click and they can, kind of sneak out a win just to give them some confidence and obviously give them some motivation going forward, because obviously losing every game is not going to get you there. So overall, guys, thank you for joining me here today on Bears Digest. We're going to be back as soon as we can with injury reports and updates going into week 3 against the Cowboys. But as always, bear down.